Hi, welcome to What We're Reading with Writerspace. I am Bobbi.
Hi, I'm Lorelei.
And I'm Kaylin. And every Friday, we're going to be here on live to talk about what we're currently reading and all the books we're loving.
And if you love books, be sure to listen to the outro for more opportunities to talk with readers about great books. So, let's get started. Welcome.
Hello. So we had a lag between our live stream and our recording starting. So I'm here with Lorelei and Kaylin, and I'm Bobbi, and we are here today very excitedly talking about books, and I'm going to get us started. So I'm going to talk about 3 books that I've read recently. The first one is How to Kill a Crime Writer by Sarah Lotz. I loved the idea of this. It's basically a very anxious, probably Gen Xer, whose mother dies, and her mother is a famous mystery writer, and she goes to sort of clean out the house, and the main character of her mother's mystery series is sort of come to life in the house and is basically telling her that it was a murder, and she knows that it's a murder, and the two of them have to investigate. So it's an interesting murder mystery. There were a lot of red herrings, and I have to say I felt like the ending was a little flat, and I kind of figured out who it was fairly early, but the idea of the book was brilliant, and I really, really enjoyed it. So just this sort of, it's almost like a ghost, the ghost of the character of her mother's main character in this series. And I just thought it was a really fun and brilliant premise, and I really, really enjoyed the book. So that is How to Kill a Crime Writer by Sarah Lotz, L-O-T-Z. Are we going one at a time, or should I do all 3? I can't remember.
I think if you want to do all 3, go for it.
Okay.
Keep going.
The other one that I want to talk about, so those of you who are romance aficionados remember Ruthie Knox from back in the day, who was just a brilliant, brilliant romance author. And I believe she is still writing romance, but she's also, with her partner, she is writing a mystery series. And I read the first one, which is called Homemaker. The third one, I think, is coming out in September. I haven't listened to the second one yet. I loved this book so much. It was a really fun idea. And the main character is basically a woman whose husband, the ex-husband, she's now divorced, went on to make tons and tons of money doing something. I can't exactly remember what he does. I think maybe he owns a tech firm or something. And she was always the stay-at-home mom who did all the work and labor in the home, and he never really appreciated her, and he never came home, and he never, took care of the things that she asked him to take care of, including like being there for the family. And so she gets involved in this mystery and uses this team that she has brought together to take care of her home. They ultimately become people who help her solve this mystery in the neighborhood. And again, I love Ruthie Knox. I love her writing, and she just brought this amazing character to life. And this woman is really sort of coming back into her own. Like, for a long time, she sort of thought of herself as just a homemaker and didn't quite know what to do with that. And this experience kind of brings her back to life in that realm. And so I mean, there now are 2 more books, so I expect that she has become like a PI, which is what she's sort of thinking about doing in the end of book 1. So I'm really, really, I mean, I really enjoyed that book, and I just got the second one last week, so I'll be listening to that soon. I'm sure you'll hear about it coming up. And then the third book that I'm going to talk about is Crash Into Me by Robin Lee. Now, Robin Lee, at some point in her past, was kind of a movie star. And I absolutely love her. And she wrote, now I can't remember the name of the first book. Oh my gosh. Um, I read her first book as a reviewer and I absolutely loved it. And it was basically this just headed into midlife art studio owner in LA who falls in love with a boy band singer. And this book was so brilliant, and it has really become like a cult following. And they made a movie on Amazon, and I can't. Do you remember the name of it, Lorelei? I can't remember. About You. I'll
I
have to
can't
go look it
remember.
up.
Yeah.
I'll find it. But anyway, that came out, I think it came out in 2017. So it's been a long time
Yeah.
from then to now. And so her second book came out, I think it was late last month. It was just very, very last week or the week before. I read this like a month ago, but I wanted to talk about it because I loved her first book, but I feel like this second book is so much deeper and definitely talks about so many different issues. Robin Lee is a Black woman. She was a Black actress. She has done a lot of different things. The character in the first book was not specifically a person of color, and this character is a person of color. And she is married to um, a filmmaker, the character, not Robin Lee, the character, married to a filmmaker, and she is trying to navigate. She's also kind of trying to find herself. This is a much less lighthearted book than Homemaker. Um, and she moves from Paris back to LA. She becomes friends with this woman who is like a very, very famous model actress. Kind of like it sounds like Jennifer Aniston sort of level of fame, married to a billionaire, and she becomes friends with this woman and realizes that this she was in a very complicated um relationship. That's, I don't mean romantic relationship. She was on a shoot that this model did 20 years ago when she was like a production assistant, and something happened, and she's still kind of she'd kind of put it down in her own head, and she's still trying to navigate it, and she doesn't know whether to tell this woman. Plus, her husband is probably fooling around on the side, and she's trying to deal with her biracial children in the United States and how that makes her feel, because she feels like they're much more dangerous. She has a much more dangerous situation with them than she did when they lived in Paris. So anyway, it is such a deep and amazing and beautiful book, and I absolutely loved it. And there are aspects of it that if you are a very conservative person, you probably won't like. Um, so, keep that in mind. But if you like a good book with lots of contemplations about where we are in the world and where women are and the things that women have to deal with at every sort of stage of their life as a woman, I can't recommend this book highly enough. So, anyway, sorry, I probably went on and on, but those are my books for the week, and they're all great reads. So, I recommend them highly. Who's next?
You've read so much more than me. I don't know. It was a slow week for me, partly because I kept having technical difficulties because I am an audiobook reader, and I was in the car a lot this week, and I was like, oh great, I'll have like lots of book time. But then like my car would like stop connecting to Apple Play, and so then it was not like I just gave up and was listening to the sound of driving. So I didn't get as much reading in this week as I had hoped to, but I did make a little bit of a dent in Eldritch, which I think I talked about last week, which is book 2 in The Eating Woods by Keri Lake. And my cat needs to go. He's pushing on the screen. So I'm about 5 hours into that, and I think it's like a 22 or 24 hour long book. So it's a big book. So I've only gotten a little ways in, but I'm enjoying it so far because I enjoy the first book a lot. I like the storyline. I like that the magic system is a little bit different than like other magic systems in fantasies I've read. And the main form of magic is like they get glyphs. So they learn a glyph, they like put it into their skin, and then like when they master that type of magic, they'll have that glyph on their body forever, to like signify that type of magic that they do. And they don't really get to pick what kind of magic they get. It's just kind of the fates decide what you get. And the main character, Mavis, she doesn't really, she in the first book she learns that she has magic. She just thought she was a human. And so now in the second book she's starting to figure out like what kinds of magic she has. And there's of course a romance, and so she's, falling in love with the immortal dude, and there's fated mates and all of the things that you look for in a fantasy. I believe there's another book coming out, but it's not out on Audible yet. So I'm not sure when that is releasing, but I don't think that this is the last one in the series. So that's kind of mostly all I've read this week. I am also reading called A New Witch in the Northwoods by Elsie Posledni. I think that's how you say that. I think it was one that I got for free for Kindle. I think it was one of the like spotlight books or something like that, or it was on a deal and I got it for free. And that one's also like a fun fantasy, but I'm not very far. I'm like 8% into that book. But she's the main character, and I haven't read it much at all this week, but I've read it in the last couple weeks, so I don't remember her name. But she like inherits this place. Her grandpa's like home in the Northwoods of Wisconsin. So that was the other reason I wanted to read it, because I'm in Wisconsin. So I was like, oh, this is fun, a fun fantasy in my state. And so she inherits like this cabin in this like small town in like a very like touristy Door County part of Wisconsin. And then she like is opening a bakery. But her grandpa was always very mysterious about like, don't go in the woods. You can't go back there. And then now that he's gone and she's inherited the home, she goes back there one day and like finds herself in this like other realm. Like she slips into like a veil of some sort and finds herself in this cute little town of like goblins and ghouls and other sorts of creatures and people. And so as I've only gotten this far into the book. So far she basically got in there and then got escorted out of there and told you won't be coming back. But I'm like less than 10% into the book. So I'm going to imagine she's probably going to get back in there somehow. So that's another little fantasy that I've been reading. I've been really into the cozy fantasies lately. So that's kind of where I'm like, I wouldn't call Eldritch the Keri Lake book. I would not call that a cozy fantasy. It's definitely like it's standard romantasy, some darker themes. But I like to offset those with some cozier ones too.
So sorry, what was the name of the one in the Northwoods?
It's A New Witch in the Northwoods by Elsie Posledni, Posledni.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. I don't think she's written much. I think at least I haven't come
Oh,
across much
and
else.
so just it's Elise.
Oh, is it?
It's
I wrote
Elise
it down wrong in my
Puzzle. Yep,
notes.
no worries.
There it
I
is.
just looked it up. So there it is. Yes. And I am also in Wisconsin. So I'm always on the radar for books set
Right.
there.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Lorelei.
Oh, well, I was just listening to Kaylin and about her technical difficulties with audio when driving in a car. Has it happened to you that you're ever listening to an audiobook in the car and then you miss your exit?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. All the time. Miss a
That
turn.
happens to me. And
Yeah.
sometimes when they say, oh, you have to take a long trip, and I'm like, yes, there's traffic. No worries. And
Right.
sometimes I'll take a long road around just
Right.
just to keep
Audiobooks.
listening.
Few more minutes.
Yeah, audiobooks changed the way I view driving completely
Yeah,
because now I like driving. I'm like, oh, I get to drive 2 hours today. That's great.
right. And then you're in your garage in the car,
Yep.
still
Finishing the
waiting until
chapter.
for the chapter to finish. And
Yep.
yeah, anyway, we love audiobooks. Go ahead, Bobby.
So I have to say this one. My sister and I were taking this road trip with my mom a few years ago, and I had a murder mystery from the library on Libby,
Mm.
and it got returned like when we were in the last 10 pages.
No.
And it was a very popular book. And I mean, I do listen to books from the library, but I get a lot of books from publishers.
Yeah.
So I'd gotten this from the library so that my sister and I could pick a book that we could both listen to. And it was like another 2 month wait.
Oh my
Oh my gosh.
goodness.
And it was just, we were just sort of listening to it. And we were at the very end. And it was like, it just cut off. I was like, what? And I went and looked and it's like, your book has been returned.
Oh,
I would have been devastated.
we
It was
should do an episode
awful.
we should do
And
an
I'm sure
episode
it
on
was
that.
like there was still something that needed to happen in that last 10 minutes to
It,
like resolve.
it was the denouement. It was like the who did it, right?
Oh
Oh my goodness. It was awful. My sister forgave me, but wow. So anyway, Lorelei books.
Okay, books. Well, what I'm currently reading. So I'm almost finished, and I think I did this purposefully. I'm at the prologue. No, at the epilogue.
Epilogue.
At the
Epilogue.
epilogue, which I saved. So it's a book called The Last Page by Katie Holt. And I had interviewed her and I learned about the story, the inspiration around the book. But just to give a brief synopsis of what it is or the descriptions, it's fans for Christina Lauren and Natalie Hazelwood will adore this rivals to friends to lovers bookish romance. It's set a bookseller with a dream of running her beloved bookstore versus the owner's out-of-touch grandson who inherits it. So she works for this bookstore, and the owner promises to leave her the bookstore to manage. But unbeknownst to family and her, he passes away out of from a heart condition and doesn't let anybody know. Anyway, she's devastated, and she loves the bookstore, and I love the cast of characters that booksellers that work in the bookstore. But anyway, she discovers that the grandson is the one who inherits it. And so she's like, he doesn't know anything about this. I'll buy it from him, you know? So he comes in and he's from Tennessee and they're all New Yorkers. So he's this laid back, beta, wonderful and caring person who, is going through difficulties in his own personal life. And he comes and meets the staff and everything. And she is like, no, we need to work this out. We need the bookstore to continue because what happens is that it's under economical, how do you say, it's going to go under unless they sell it or do something. So they both then form kind of a friendship relationship, become friends, and do everything they can to make this bookstore come to life so that it doesn't close because it's a staple in the community. And, so I asked Katie, what was the inspiration for writing this book? And she said that she worked at the Strand in New York. So part of it is a little bit, inspired and an homage to, the bookstore and some of the characters and everything. So I did not listen to the last because I just interviewed her last night. So today I want to finish and see how it ends. So that is the one that I was reading, the last page. And another book that I have on my audio, and I only have it like at 2%, which is the Sweet Tea Odyssey by
Mm.
Catherine Mann,
Yeah.
who in ReaderSpace this coming week on Wednesday, she's going to be our guest. So I saved the book to read it, to listen to it. And it's a story, it says a powerful story of healing, resilience, and the traditions that bring Southern families together with her waterfront home on the market, marriage over, and teenage daughter Elsie threatening emancipation. Rosalind Yates finds her nerves well frayed, and that's even before a Category 3 hurricane approaches the Carolinas. Fortunately, Rosalind's mother, Lillian, arrives to help with the evacuation, going into full mama bear mode whether Rosalind likes it or not. So the three women load a few belongings and Rosalind's mobility service dog, Dusty, into her van, and they start a slow journey to Lillian's home in Virginia, where further headache awaits them as they hash out old betrayals and new crises. Lillian recalls another important road trip when decades earlier, the family joined the historical Capitol crawl to fight for the passing of the Americans with Disabilities Act. So as secrets surface and accommodations become more difficult to find, the women are tested at every turn. But they know that finding hope and reconciliation takes care and patience, just like making the perfect pitcher of sweet tea. So that is what awaits me for this weekend.
Nice. Full disclosure, so we all do work for Writerspace and um with and for and so Catherine Mann is a client of Writerspace, but I speak for myself, but I think I also speak for Lorelei and Kaylin that clients or not, we are always honest about books. So um while she did mention that book, it is something that is on all of our uh readers list. I do have the audio for that, so it's in my very, very, very large to be read list. But
Yeah.
I definitely loved Lightning in a Mason Jar, which was her last book, and I thought it was just beautifully written. So very
Yes.
exciting. So
Yeah.
anyway.
So I'm looking forward. I think this is not a romance, but maybe it has a romantic element. So it's a surprise for me what I'll find out. But something that I love about books and meeting authors is that you get a little to know them a little more about their writing process, their inspiration, so that when you get to read books by them, you kind of have like a different insight into it. So, so that's what I'm excited and looking forward to. And she's amazing. She's a doll. I love having her
She's
and
adorable. I agree. She's such a
very
sweetheart.
charismatic.
Okay, so we have a few more minutes. I will say that I just started Kate White's I Came Back for You.
Mm.
And I will take this opportunity to say that we are having a Facebook Live chat with Kate White, Laura Griffin, Mary Burton, and Jessica Patch on Monday. And there is our Killer Books drawing that is going on right now is a book from each one of them. So that is a really cool drawing in case you wanted to go into that. You can find our contests on writerspace.com. there's a menu bar that says contest, so you can enter them all there. But that's a really, really good contest. So I just wanted to plug that because that one's really cool. And they're all great writers. So I just started that book. I'm kind of in a I'm kind of in a mystery phase, and I do dip my toes into psychological thrillers. It's not my favorite because they do kind of stress me out. But
Yeah.
I'm dipping my toes into those. I've read one by Mary Burton. I'm going to try to read her most recent, and I just recently read one from Laura, and so now I have to read one from Kate, and hopefully I'll get to
Mhm.
Jessica. But so many books.
Right. Yeah,
So
I've read a couple psychological thrillers, but I feel like I read them much slower because they start to like I get anxious reading them.
yeah,
Like there's a couple books I can think of in the last few years that I've read that I've just like I loved them a lot, but also they kind of gave me nightmares. So like I don't read them often. I try to
yes,
stick to more of like the mystery and less of the
right.
thriller.
Cozy and
Yeah.
cozy mystery,
Yeah.
psychological thriller. But I mean, a lot of them are so good,
I
right? And
know.
they're fascinating.
Yeah.
But
I
yes,
think I found that like if they have like a paranormal element to them, then I can take them in a little bit better too because I'm like, oh, it's not real.
right. There
And
you
so
go.
those ones I like a little bit more.
Yeah, very funny.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, I think we're kind of wrapping up. Did you want to
Yeah.
bring up some of the books from we also do for readers out there? We do have this wonderful platform called ReaderSpace, which is in Bookspace, and we have readers who come together every Wednesday evening and have a lot of book
Book
recommendations. So, do you have
recommendations.
any recent ones from there?
Oh boy, let's see. I think I shared some last week, but I
Mhm.
have here some romantasy or fantasy. It's called Teas and Tempers by Maisie Kaida, I believe, and My Fae Lady by S.L. Prater and Jen Lynning. Sound familiar? Um,
No, I haven't heard of those ones.
yes, and then A Labyrinth of Honeybees by Heather
Hmm.
Fawcett.
Huh.
That one sounds
And
interesting.
yes. And let me see. I think I mentioned a few of these from last time. So the first week, the first Wednesdays, that's when we do BYOBs, which is bring your own books, and we talk about the books, kind of like what we do, but what we're reading right now. And this past week we had a one more chapter romance edition because August is Romance Awareness Month. So they shared a lot of books, but I haven't gotten the list yet, but I can include it for this video when you get to watch the replay. So I'll be sure to share those there.
Awesome.
Very cool. So, any other books anybody wants to mention?
Did
I mentioned last week Sea of Charms being one of like my most recent highlights because I was really excited about it. I got my trophy copy because I'm an audiobook reader. But I like to buy a trophy book for my bookshelf. So I got that and I'm loving the artwork and the sprayed edges and I'm
Yeah,
loving
that's a
sprayed
beautiful
edges.
that's a great cover.
I know the artwork on her covers is just it's so good. And she announced the next one in the series. And this is a nice series because each book is standalone as well. Like you don't have to read the whole series, but if you do, then you kind of see how they weave together. But the next one is coming out, I think, in January. So pretty quick turnaround, which I'm very excited about. It's called The Magical Cheese Emporium. So I'm looking forward to reading that one next.
Well, that's a perfect thing for someone from Wisconsin, right?
Right, exactly. But in this book, in the Sea of Charms, you meet the cheese emporium and you get introduced to it. So that will then be the next story. So
Very cool.
yeah.
So we decided that we were going to end these with our book of the week. We're going to like announce it that way, the book of the week for each one of us. And I believe
That was
that was
mine.
her book of the week. Lorelei, what's your book of the week?
Well, I'm gonna share The Irish Goodbye by Amy Ewing. This brought me all the emotions, even made me cry. It's a book about uh at first when they it's hate at first sight because they run into each other without knowing. She's a photographer, but she's down, and her father suddenly passes away, and so she has this camera that he left her. And as she goes, her sister says, you need to go away, or I can't remember, it was her friend, but he said, you need to go away somewhere and just to 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 how do you say, to find some time to heal.
Yeah.
So go somewhere. And where she goes is to Ireland, because her best friend said, I have someone there that I would like for you to watch over without her knowing. It's like her grandmother, I think, or her great aunt. And so she says, okay, I'll go. And as she goes on the ship to the island, some guy runs into, she's with her camera taking pictures, and this guy bumps into her, knocks down her camera, and he keeps walking away, and her camera that her dad gave her, the lens broke, and she is
Um,
devastated. And the guy was on the phone talking and didn't know. He said sorry or be careful, like didn't not knowing the gravity of what he had done. And
mhm.
but then as she goes into town, goes into a restaurant where it happens that he works there as the chef there, and they meet, and you can only imagine her reaction to him. But then they get to know each other, and things come to light, and of course it's a romance, so it's going to end
Mhm.
happy. But what I love about the book cover, I'm a cover girl. There's a dog who is adorable, and takes part of the story, and just all the secondary characters too. It really made for a great read. So I would
Neat.
definitely give
Irish Goodbye.
the Irish Goodbye by Amy Ewing a try. It does touch on mental health issues, and but definitely a great read. It's one of
Awesome.
my favorites. And this was the first time that I read Amy Ewing. And I don't know what it is when you read the first book by someone and it just makes you so happy. It's just
Mhm.
like ingrained. So I'm excited to see what other books. She has actually another one coming up later this year, and it's called The Plus One List. So
Neat.
we'll see that one. What's that
Awesome.
about?
Awesome. And my book of the week is going to be one I already discussed, which is Crash Into Me by Robin Lee. And I don't know
Yeah,
if I'm going to be,
There
oh,
you
look at
go.
that. I got it.
beautiful.
You
So
did
I
it.
do not have, I don't get books anymore. Mainly because I don't know where to put them anymore because I still have so many from when I was a reviewer. But yes, definitely recommend Crash Into Me. And the other book was The Idea of You. That was her first book, which came out 2017, I think. And definitely recommend both of them. Great
Definitely.
books. Awesome.
Awesome.
Well, I think we're
Love
gonna
it.
wrap up. And so these are ultimately going to go on YouTube. We're going to put them on YouTube, and when we put them on YouTube, we will list all the books that we have mentioned and that we've mentioned on behalf of other people. So definitely go find us. We'll let you know as soon as they're up there. Um, and uh, And we would love for you to comment on, all the books that you're reading, because
Yes,
readers
please.
always are looking for recommendations. So
Actually, this one was recommended by a reader. So that's why
nice.
I love hearing from readers what they enjoy and
Yeah.
giving it a spotlight. Great.
Very cool. All right. Well, happy reading, everybody. Happy weekend. And we will check back with you next week. And yeah,
See you then.
and feel free to put those comments in this Facebook too, as well, because we love recommendations. And
Yes.
yeah. Anyway, all right.
Awesome. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Don't forget to tune in to our Facebook Live every Friday at 12:30 p.m. Eastern for our fun book talks and great book recommendations. See you next week.